Rob, we're here again, ready to talk the biggest news of the day. But before we get into that, I heard you went to an Italian restaurant. How did that go, my brother?
Oh, it was really good. So it's called the Roman Village. It's in Dearborn. Been going there since I was a kid. The best thing about I always look forward to the bread. Comes out fresh
Okay.
out of the oven, has garlic taste and just melted butter on it. Just it's top notch.
That sounds
Um
like it puts Olive
Also,
Garden in complete shame.
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I would go to, even though it's 30 minutes, 35 minutes, I would go there nine
Dude.
10 times out of 10 times out of 10 than going to Olive Garden. They
Where's the
also have
place's name again?
the Roman Village. It's
The Roman Village.
so it's basically they have a branch off restaurant called Antonio's. Don't know if you ever heard of Antonio's,
I can't say I have.
but really good Italian food. Really good. I had their pizza, their award winning pizza. So what they do, because I'm like, where's the pepperoni? Because I ordered pepperoni. I thought they forgot. They tuck the pepperoni under the cheese.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
So really good.
dude, that sounds top notch and top quality, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
goodness. And they're
But dude,
both in the Metro Detroit area?
I've been on a pizza excursion, dude. Like I went to Freddy the Pizza Man again.
Oh,
And
you did?
so I decided to switch it up a bit. So
Good
I
call.
usually just get a traditional pepperoni. And so this time I said, okay, like, let's get pepperoni, let's get some peppers. And this is what surprised me. So I
Yeah.
asked for bacon. Something like bacon sounds really good right now on pizza.
I like bacon on a pizza.
So this is what surprised me. When what's something y'all believe in but
Just kidding.
but can't prove. I don't know if I want to say it.
Right?
What some of y'all believe in? What are you talking about? A conspiracy theory?
Anyway.
Yeah,
That
but
your pizza excursion sounds amazing.
yeah, so got so I was expecting bacon bits, but
Yeah.
no, they put the strips on the pizza. They put the bacon strips on the pizza,
Dang.
and that's how you get it.
Full bacon strips.
Full, yeah, full bacon
What?
strips. It's all fresh though.
Dude, that
Definitely.
sounds amazing. What in the world? Yeah, you might have to open up a blog about all this stuff, about like your Metro Detroit best of the best pizza rankings or
Dude,
something.
I'm doing cheesesteaks as well, man.
Oh, okay. Now
I'm
it's
seeing
really
because
hard to
you
get
know
a
what?
quality cheesesteak
I
outside of Philly.
yeah. I've been to in Pittsburgh. I went to Pepe's, and
Okay, yeah, I've
they
heard of
they
them.
have a they have a cheesesteak called the South Philly. It's really good. So I've been checking around here, places that have really good cheesesteaks. Just
My
but
my
so
buddy who grew up in the Philly area, he said if Philly, this is his own thing, but it's a Philly thing. If Philly is in the name, it's not quality. It's not authentic. Anyway, it might be quality, but it's not authentic. So that's kind of his stake. And I always fought him on. I was like, dude, we're trying to pay homage to the city of Philadelphia by including it in the name. He's like, no, that's not how it works, bro. So he always cracked me
but
up with
yeah,
that.
there's this place called Gabriel's and
Yeah.
Ypsilanti, and then Bulldog's cheesesteaks and Dearborn. That's the only two places I tried so far.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll definitely have to buckle down and see get some more reviews later on in different shows, man. That sounds amazing. Seriously.
definitely.
Um, man, that's quality. Well, there's so many topics to cover tonight. There's so many to cover. The big news broke literally 30 minutes before we were going to go live. So I jotted down as many notes as I could. This is just going to be initial thoughts, initial discussion on the NCAA settlement for revenue sharing. These are some experts I gleaned and wrote down and jotted down from the article. Broke at 7:45. NCAA and Power Four conferences, because there's only four power conferences now, revenue sharing. Board of Governors approved $2.7 billion settlement for former athletes and all the lawsuits filed against the NCAA that have come from former athletes up to 2016. It gets a little dicey here, and I fully like this is yeah, I got plenty of thoughts. Well, let me just get through these excerpts, and we'll discuss it fully. NCAA will only pay $1.1 million out of the 2.7 billion. Will be paid from the rest will be paid from with reductions to Division One members over the next 10 years, over the next decade. So the NCAA is only forking out $1.1 million. And the rest is going to come from the money that the NCAA saves over the next 10 years by slashing the revenue distribution from the NCAA and what they make from the March Madness tournament and et cetera, et cetera. Every single Division One athlete dating back to 2016 are eligible. Yeah, it's a drop in the ocean completely. It's not even close to what it's going to be. Revenue sharing will be in place for the first time in 25-26. Will permit schools to share revenue with athletes for the first time up to 22% of the average revenue for power conference schools. And it'll be capped for now at 22 million, which is a number that's going to be in flux. It's going to change every year because revenue keeps on climbing and climbing and climbing if this ever becomes a thing. And the key distinction here, which makes me think this whole thing is not even going to happen, is that the settlement still requires approval from a judge and remains available for objections by individual plaintiffs. The NCAA is a sinking boat, and they're trying to save themselves and their relevancy by settling out of court. Initial thoughts, Rob?
I don't know, man. The first things first. Why do players from 2016
Get to
get any money at all? Like you weren't in college during the NIL era.
right.
Like there should not be any money going to these people. And who is it? Are they people who went to the pros? Did they already make their money? Like who? I
Yeah,
would like to know who's getting including this. What names are in the lawsuits? If they're
sure.
players who didn't make the pros and they're just trying to get a payday, then sure, why not? But I don't know. I just think this whole it's just getting out of
It's a sham.
control.
There,
It's a shame. But at the same time, the NCAA is a over $1 billion year industry,
yeah,
and they have been profiting off athletes for quite some time now. So
yes.
it's kind of like a catch 22
It is a
type of
catch
deal.
22, and I do see both sides of the scenario and both sides of the fence, like you're saying here, like we've expressed on our lives previously. You know, like this NIL thing came in 2021, and these athletes, we got Maurice Claret trying to get in the pot. I saw a post on Instagram from him from 2002 trying to get in the. He's like, "You better send me my check, Ohio State football," and I'm like, "Dude, that's 2002.
Yeah, dude, I mean, like that
Everybody's gonna come out of the
that's
woodworks.
ridiculous, man. Yeah, everybody's gonna come out of the woodwork saying I'm due money. It's like
I'm
no,
due. Pay up."
no, you're not due money.
No,
You went
no.
to college. You went to college during a time where there was no NIL, there was no athletes profiting off their name, image, likeness.
Right,
And it's just
right.
like you're opening up a can of worms right now. Because
And why
then there's
2016
gonna
being
be
the
these
cutoff?
people coming from the '90s, the
Right,
'80s, like
right. Not 70s. Go back to the Yost era, point a minute guys. Yeah, no, I'm just saying they're from the grave, their families.
yeah.
It's just they're opening the can. But I I didn't have much time to think about this, to be honest. I wrote down all these quotes and I tried to formulate some thoughts. I saw some comments on Instagram. I saw some comments on 11 Warriors that helped formulate my thoughts and kind of express how I'm feeling about this. Um, but the NCAA knew they didn't. They weren't preactive. They didn't preemptively strike with before NIL became a thing. And so now they're trying to rein it in by saying, okay, stop suing us, stop suing us, stop suing us. We'll settle for this. Bro, 2.7 billion isn't even close to, that's for every power conference, for every athlete in every sport.
That's not going to work
That's
out.
not including Title IX. Title IX throws a wrench in this entire thing.
That's not enough money at all.
It's not even close. It's not even close. 2.7 billion is not even close to the number that needs to be said here. And it's coming from all these lawsuits from these former players, and now we've seen lawsuits from current players. We'll get to Jaden Rashada a little bit later on. We can get to spring game later, but yeah, we'll definitely get on that. We had a whole video if you want to check that out. We had our thoughts on it if you want to check that out on the channel. But here's the thing, like you said, this is just going to open the floodgates for more lawsuits. Now they're saying in an excerpt I didn't write down, but I remembered just now that they're saying you have to promise to not for future lawsuits against us, the
Oh my
NCAA,
gosh.
in this agreement. No
Well,
one's going to agree to that, bro.
here's the thing, though. MDen is being sued currently for
Mm-hmm.
not paying out the athletes.
Yeah, we'll definitely get onto that one
Yeah,
later
we'll
for
get onto
sure.
that as well.
We are definitely diving into that topic for sure, bro. That's one of the later topics, but like you get so many players that feel entitled to this sum of money, and to a degree I understand and I get it, because my opinion on this has evolved over the years. And I was firmly against it from the beginning, but I started to see the hypocrisy and how much the coaches and organizations and the TV networks are worth now. And I'm just a little bit on the athlete side. Um, but here's the thing, man: the lawsuits are not going to stop. No one's going to agree to that. Schools are not going to agree to a $2.7 billion settlement for the lawsuits that were in play. Everybody's going to come and form new lawsuits. I don't see a judge agreeing to this in the least bit. Like a
No,
judge, because schools, there's a cap. They're trying to put a cap and revenue sharing for the first time ever. But bro, Ohio State alone has 36 Division I sports, not including club sports. Schools like this, with the Title IX in place, you have to pay your female athletes and your male athletes, and you have to pay them the exact same. You know, there might come a time where people are theorizing that sports outside of the big revenue generators are just going to be cut from college athletics. Let's just be clear: college athletics are not going to be the same. But I don't see this going through. I just don't see it going through.
no.
I think the NCAA crumbles. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, even if they did have to do a settlement, like I guarantee you, these people wouldn't. They wouldn't see their money.
Oh,
They definitely would not see
yeah.
their money.
Well, that goes back to the point where they're only going to pay $1.1 million out of their own pockets. The rest is generated through revenue that the schools create, not the NCAA. And so that's ridiculous that they're trying to formulate that and trying to appease them in that manner, and over a 10-year period, the next 10 years. It's just, I don't see that happening, bro. I really truly don't. And I see the power that the NCAA had just completely eroding. They're trying to become the organization that puts this revenue sharing model in place. But we knew all from the beginning, because they weren't preemptively acting, that it was never going to last. It wasn't going to, and the NCAA is not going to be the organization to set the revenue sharing, in my opinion. It's going to be a complete new entity, complete new, what's up, man? Complete new, newly created thing, or doomsday. College football, one, it's just never the same. Like it really hasn't been since 2021. or college football, it's going semi-pro at some point, and it basically is
Oh yeah,
that.
we talked about it. So there's
What's up,
minor league
audio?
baseball, there's the G League for basketball. Like why not just pay these players? Why not make a semi-pro football league outside of college and have those who want to actually earn a degree and not get paid, give them scholarship, but have these other players get drafted in type of minor league since they're not
Sure.
eligible to be in the NFL.
Maybe the UFL, is the league that becomes that.
The
And
U the UFL.
I mean, it's already a league that's in place. It's a joke of a league right now, to be honest. Let's be honest. But to your point, maybe that's the league that becomes where players go, like the G League for the NBA instead of college.
I don't know. I think this whole whatever $2.7 billion
Yeah.
athletes who weren't even a part of the NIL thing
It's
asking for money. It's too much. It's
asking for
gotten out
handouts.
of control. There needs to. Here's the thing, though. Yes, people want NIL to get college athletes paid, but there was
Yes,
no line in the sand. There is no.
there is no
The buck
line.
stops here. It's the wild, wild west out there. There's no regulation at all.
Right. There is none, and that's why it's out of control. And that's why you see they're trying to work through collectives here. I see they're trying to work with collectives, but have collectives be completely associated with the university and have revenue sharing come strictly through the university and its collectives, not through um, collectives that are associated with the university, but directly through the university. And they're trying to pinpoint this. And I just don't. Yeah, man. Semi-pro leagues are coming, I think, and college football is really at an impasse. Almost. What's up, Utah? You in the house?
But here's the thing, though, man. Like, if that happens, you're not gonna see the stars on on Saturdays anymore, dude.
They're not going to be on college campuses anymore. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
They'll go
like,
to the G League, UFL.
yeah, the G League, UFL. You're gonna see all the cameras over there because all these 5-star athletes they're gonna want the bag, and then they're
Hmm.
gonna head over there.
Well, that's
Hey,
what's
Strain,
going
that's what I
on.
was saying as well. Julian saying over Will Howard, definitely a hot take. That was actually mine.
Yeah, that was a hot take.
Mid-season, count on it. Mid-season.
You're thinking about maybe the Oregon game, perhaps. Um, well, we see it happening in college basketball already. A lot of the young stars are going to the G League over going to college. It's just how it is. And nobody envisioned. I read 11 Warriors MGO blog religiously. I've got a job that allows me to do that on my work time, waiting for these customers to come in all the time. And nobody predicted that college football itself would potentially go this way. And here we are, 3 years into NIL, and we're seeing a realistic possibility of college football potentially just dying and losing its stars
I mean, let's be
because they don't
honest.
want to take classes, and they weren't
Yeah,
taking classes.
yeah. Going back to the NCAA, they have not had a hold in college football for years. They're not even
Oh
relevant, and this is the
no,
only way they can stay relevant.
bro, completely.
They want to control the money.
It's a power grab, is what it is.
Yeah.
It's completely outrageous to think they should have any kind of sway in college football in this day and age because they clearly don't.
Because if you look at all the investigations, all the suspensions that happened, Reggie Bush, Tattoo Gate, Todd Gurley, possibly Chase Young, it was
Mhm.
all over players trying to get paid
Yeah.
off of name, image, and likeness. And now that that has happened, where there's NIL, it's just not happening anymore.
Well, you made a very good point, bro. You made a very good point. You said, the best talent is going to go to this G League UFL. just like they do in college basketball. And and courses have been a joke for a long time. I looked at Ohio State and Michigan. What their general studies is Michigan's majorly push degree for football players. At Ohio State, um, it has a different name, but it's the exact same type of thing. A basic generic course for most athletes. Not everybody. Aaron Kraft, Craig Krenzel, the guys of the past, they're getting doctorate degrees and all this stuff. But that's a very rare case that someone even goes into business or anything else. And so let's Justin Fields himself, he never even set foot in class. He took online courses while he was at Ohio State, and that's becoming very common. Hasn't been shared very often, but I've heard other stories about that happening. And so, the facade of student athlete is starting to diminish as well. And you're gonna see the people who are in it for the bag go to the G League UFL, and people who actually want a degree go to campuses, and the talent pool is going to be greatly diminished.
Oh
Greatly
yeah.
diminished. Whew, there's a lot to digest in that, man. There really is a lot to digest. Um, this is the big, shocking headline that revenue sharing is the first time it's ever allowed in college football history, college athletic history. But I have a sense that it's going to come to nothing because the NCAA is powerless and feckless in this day and age. And so I think it goes. I think the NCAA goes away. Everybody's been predicting that for a few years now. They're holding on for straws, trying to stay relevant, trying to have that power grab, and I just don't see it working. I don't think it's gonna be in their benefit in the favor moving forward. Moving on to the next topic, bro. Jaden Rashada. This is in the same vein. Lawsuits and former schools, bro. This story is so outrageous it makes me laugh hysterically because it's just absolutely astronomical. This guy, Jane Rashada, four-star quarterback, if you don't know the story, four-star quarterback out of California, mind you, initially offered 9.5 million to play quarterback at Miami, Florida. Florida, the Gators got wind of that, heard from Jaden, probably Jaden in his camp. Okay, you get 9.5. Here's 13.85 is what we'll offer you to come to our school. So he is
Yes.
verbally committed to Miami, Florida. Totally reneges on that, which in one thing for him, on one side of it, good for him. Go to the bigger bag if you can get it. On the other side, be a man of your word. Um, Offered 13.85 by Florida and Billy Napier, Sunbelt Billy. Committed and signed the NLI, National Letter of Intent, to Miami, Florida, right? And then the next day, Billy Napier calls him up and says, bro, it's not on the table anymore, that 13.85. After you've locked in and signed in, he gets furious, waits a month, and then goes to a school, Arizona State, who basically offers him nothing. I'm sure they offered him a little bit, but basically nothing because he's so fed up with the staff. He lost complete trust with Florida staff. He goes to a school in a conference that was dying in Arizona State, plays in 3 games, just 3 games, gets beat out by the next guy, and now goes to Georgia of all schools. Why would Kirby Smart even touch this guy is my first question to you.
I I don't even know. It seems like this dude has made a really bad name for himself. I mean,
Oh,
first he reneges on his contract with Miami as if $9.85 million not enough for a kid coming straight out of high school, never even took a snap in his life. And
yeah,
then with Florida, he $13.85 million. But here's the thing though, Billy Napier, I mean that I'm sorry, but in his defense, that's dirty. You
yeah,
you you pretty much lied to a young athlete
yeah,
about money, and
yeah,
that's what he's looking for. Who knows what his situation is? Obviously he's trying to get to the bigger bag because personally, if he was trying to get if he was trying to for production or winning, you're not going to go to Miami, Florida, or Florida.
Right.
I mean, two frauds of programs who just have NIL going for them. That's how they're able to get the 5-star athletes.
Right.
But
So
it's just like, but at the same time, so he gets furious. He transfers to Arizona State,
right.
gets beat out at Arizona State. You know what that tells me? This dude's not talented at all. But
No.
why go to Georgia? Georgia
Why
is
would Georgia even touch him, bro?
I
Georgia's
don't
an
even know.
elite program.
It seemed so. Here's the thing, though. Kirby Smart. It's kind of like there's some questionable things that have happened at
Sure.
Georgia. The thing
Sure.
that comes to mind is that crash incident
Yeah. A
where
bunch of
apparently
DUIs going on.
somebody was drunk or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think a couple more things have happened,
Yes.
but so that's kind of like, okay, maybe Kirby would mess with this dude, maybe he wouldn't, but I obviously it is, but I don't know. I don't think that the kid probably start, but
Yeah.
I mean, in his defense, he kind of got screwed, but he kind of screwed over the people who were going to offer him the bag. I mean, you're guaranteed money at Miami. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
Miami has the biggest boosters in all of college football. I don't want to hear about the oil money in Texas. I don't want to hear
Right.
about Ohio State boosters. I don't want to
Yeah.
hear about down Southern Cal. Miami Hurricanes, they've been doing it for a long time. Now they're just more
Sure.
open about it because it's legal.
Right.
So that's just my
There,
thoughts.
there's two sides of the story because they're both screwed each other basically, and they're you can laugh at both parties. You can laugh at Jane Rashada for from going from 9.5 to 13.85 to nothing. Not to Georgia's certainly paying him something, obviously. But he's literally suing Billy Napier and the booster that guaranteed him money at Florida. And so that's what the lawsuit is against the head coach
Oh
at
yeah,
Florida
definitely.
and the booster.
And here's the thing though, Billy Napier and that booster just screwed themselves over because who's gonna want to touch their program? Who's looking for a
Right.
bag? They're gonna be like, oh, they're offering me this much money. But wait, here's what they did to this young athlete. They reneged on their deal. Players
Go ahead and read
decide
that
to
comment.
make. I don't understand why all these players decide to make stupid little decisions when they seem to have it made. Honestly, baffles me. I don't
I think
I don't know if it's
it's
illegal what he did.
yeah. Well, he broke the contract, but he's also claiming
Yeah.
that Florida breached their contract. And I think Jaden, I don't know this, so I'm just saying this. This is an assumption. I don't, fact check me on. You totally fact check me on this. I don't know, but it seems like he's one of the kind of players that came from a single. I know he came from a single mother household, a single parent household, and so he's looking to support his mother. And so on that aspect, I get it. But dude, like you have this is why you don't have people sign contracts and look at contracts unless they are a contract lawyer, knowing what they're doing, knowing what they're
Yeah.
looking at. And to add to this case, it's all good. To add to this case, things are going to continue to happen like this at other schools because people aren't hiring people to look at this. These are, athletes that are promised one thing and completely have the wool over their eyes because they don't know how to read the contract,
But
nor
here's the
should
thing
they at
though,
18 years old.
people need to follow suit with Jeremiah Smith because there's a reason
Yes.
why he didn't fax in his NLI for quite some time because his family and the lawyers that his family hired were all over that, making sure that
Yes.
he got all the money that he was guaranteed, the contract was right, and then they sent they sent over the
Now, to
NLI.
counterpoint, though, the majority of families that are coming into college football are not going to have that kind of money to even do that. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
just a
definitely not.
counterpoint. And so, in that vein, athletes are going to continue to get screwed over in this by schools that are doing things the shady way. Um, Obviously, Florida is one of them. Like you said, Billy Napier completely mucked and mired Florida's image. If it wasn't bad enough on the football field as it was, let's be honest, it was bad on the football field.
Oh yeah,
But
definitely.
now it's even worse. Like people are not going to trust this man and his word. These boosters, which which by the way, boosters are still illegal. Collectives are legal, but boosters are not legal. Um, Boosters can give to the collectives, and that's how they're trying to present this to these athletes and these incoming, stud athletes. But yeah, man, I don't see this being the last case. I see multiple cases coming very soon, in the next, several years or weeks and months. Um, yeah, we actually talked about that a little bit last week, but we might talk about for a little bit later on. I did a video on the channel, so check out that Pickle Dough Boy. Check out and get my thoughts on that. Um, but yeah, man. Here's the other interesting tidbit. One tidbit I left out. So since he broke the verbal contract he had at Miami, he owed Miami a certain amount of money, and so literally Florida paid Miami, Florida, $150,000 to appease Florida. So not that. Like, how stupid does Florida get, bro, on this? And the other thing is, Napier offered him $1 million just to sign. $1 million to sign on the dotted line. Florida continues to put mud in their own faces, bro. And
Yeah.
I don't see this ending well for Georgia. I don't see this ending well for the kid. It's definitely not going to end well for Florida. Like, that's the clearest thing of all. But what do you think about athletes that are going to go after this? Do you see, after the bag in terms of the commitment to the school? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, with NIL there, I would not use the word commitment. I would use the word convenient.
That's a
I
great.
would use the word convenient. What's the most What's the most convenient spot where I'm going to get paid before I even play a snap?
It's chaos, bro. No, that's a great distinction, man. That's a great distinction. And even signing on the line, and even if you do fulfill your NIL commitments to a player, they have every right to leave for the bag at another school during this era. At least during the current era that we're in right now. And so, it's really hard for me to get excited about commitments at this point, at this stage, because 2/3 of the recruiting class is gone by the time they're eligible and good enough to get on the playing field. It's just kind of that simple.
Yeah.
So, college football is absolutely out of control right now, bro. And the NCAA is not. They're trying to play their hand, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. And I believe a new revenue sharing, overarching committee or whatever organization needs to come in and actually lay down the law, because the NCAA is not going to
There
make it happen.
there needs to be an oversight committee.
That's the terminology I was searching for.
Seriously, like there needs to be some type of regulation where you can only spend so much a year.
Well, there is a cap for now. It's proposed by the NCAA in this new settlement. But like we said, that's not going to happen. So NCAA is going to need to tighten down tight. Yeah, there's like a $22 million cap right now proposed by the NCAA if this settlement goes through, which it won't. But yeah, I agree. There has to be a cap for revenue sharing. But even then, I think unions will form by the players, and that's where you're going to get that division between the G League, UFL, and college football. Like, dude, things are completely different, bro, and it's kind of disgusting. It's kind of disturbing.
They didn't, here's the thing though. When they opened up this NIL door, they didn't really like lay out a foundation, a
No,
blueprint for it.
it was completely just do as you will, do as you want, and now they're trying to rein it back in and put everything back in the bottle. It's not happening like that, bro.
Yeah.
And that's where all these lawsuits are coming from. That's where all these lack of commitment is coming from. There already was a lack of commitment, but now there's a complete and total lack of commitment, bro. It's just It's wild, and like you said, there needs to be an oversight committee. There needs to be an organization to come in and really actually lay the hammer down because the NCAA does not have enough power to do so. Um, you know, just to kind of wrap this topic up, like Jaden Rashada, like he just, you know, I see where he's coming from. He's coming from a poor household, but honoring your word. And then Florida, yeah, you should have honored your word too. It's just one of those things where it's like nobody has that honor anymore, and it's all about the biggest dollar signs. And there is a tiny element too about the this is hilarious. Now he's at Georgia. Could he potentially? I don't think he will, but could he potentially lead Georgia to wins over Florida in the coming years? Beck is the guy for this year, but now Florida could get doubly screwed because their biggest rival, Georgia, is has now a possession of this player. So
Yeah.
I kind of see him being a washout, but it would be hilarious to me if Georgia ended up just mollywhopping Florida with Rashada as the starting quarterback. So anyway, there's some wild times, bro. We'll get to the M&M story in just a little bit. I want to run through the lineup here of Fox College Football Friday nights now. They have 12 Friday nights set up just for this year. They dabbled in a little bit last year. No, for sure, Pickle, for sure. Um, that's why we saw both sides of the story. But Fox here, they have 12 games between the Big 12 and the Big 10. Um, for this Friday, they dabbled in it for this season. They dabbled in it last season with a couple Michigan State, Penn State, and a couple Pac-12 games. Now Pac-12 is obviously depleted and deserted. But let me just run through the lineup here. There's not many sexy matchups, bro. Not gonna lie. There's not many, but this is a new thing. So they're trying it out. Just like they tried out Big Noon, and it was a massive success for them. So Arizona at Kansas State, the first matchup. Illinois at Nebraska. Washington at Rutgers, bro. Ain't nobody tuning into that. MSU at Oregon. Interesting. Northwestern at Maryland. Nobody's tuning in that except their moms and parents and grandparents. This is the sexiest one. Oregon at Purdue, because teams go to Purdue at night and die.
Yeah.
Highly ranked teams. We know it too full well. I was there
That
for
was
one of
more.
them
I'm sorry, but
myself.
that was more Jeff Brom. I mean Jeff Brom.
It was even before Jeff Brown. It was all the way back in the mid 2000s and 2010s. But no, you're right. But like for Ohio State, yeah, specifically, but they slaughtered at least 6, 7 teams that were in the top five at Purdue at night. Rutgers at USC. Goodness. Iowa at UCLA. UCLA at Washington. Decent, potentially. Purdue at Michigan State. And then Utah at UCF. So
I
you
got
see basically a slob of games.
here's there's only one big time primetime game. That's Oregon Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
The rest, they're not going to get many very views at all. And
No,
notice how Michigan, Ohio State,
right.
and Penn State aren't there. Because you know what, they're the ones who are going to get the most views during the
Yes.
season, and they won them on Saturday
Yep.
in a primetime slot, or it's either noon or it's a nighttime slot.
Yep. Exactly. For those big time matchups, no
I
doubt.
forgot they were in the Big Ten.
We painfully
uh,
haven't forgotten, but
yeah,
most of the nation has, yes.
Chris. Chris Ash took over that
Mm-hmm.
team. Didn't do much, but now Greg Schiano, he's
Shiano.
doing a good job.
They're rising up. They're not going to compete in the Big Ten, but they're a
No, they're
formidable
not.
opponent now.
They're the
Um,
doormat of the Big Ten.
yeah, exactly. No doubt, man. And so it's interesting because like you mentioned, the Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, they refuse basically to be on those nights. Essentially, um, we saw last year that um, Michigan's first game of the year went to Peacock, and unfortunately, I see an Ohio State game whether that be the Akron game or an Indiana game or a Northwestern game at Wrigley, going to Peacock as well, because we're not going to avoid it. If they put Michigan on the first year they had it, they're going to put the Buckeye brands on it.
Yeah.
And before I hand it back over to you, I watched a lot of Premier League soccer, and that's on NBC and Peacock too. And they rolled out Peacock 5, 6 years ago. And initially, they started putting the crappy matchups on, right, where nobody cared about. Well, now 5, 6 years into it, they're putting the top of the top matchups: the Liverpool versus Manchester United, the Man City versus Man United. I know that's slightly off topic, but like they're putting the marquee games on Peacock now, and I think 5, 6 years down the road, they're going to do the same thing with college football. Now it's a shifting landscape, but they snuck it in just like they did with Michigan ECU last year. Like, oh, nobody cares. It's Michigan Eastern Carolina. That's how they started with Premier League too. And then farther down the line, they put the big time matchups on there, and pay to watch. And it's unfortunate, but they're trying to milk the customer as much as they can, milk the fan as much as they can, and I see that really happening to college football as well.
I mean, streaming services could take over college football. I mean, I know this. I know coming up this season, there are two NFL games on Netflix. I think it's either things. It's on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas. There's
On
two
Amazon
NFL
and Netflix,
games
yeah, Netflix.
on that's going to be on Netflix. I don't know why they decided to take this route, because here's the thing though, like if you don't have Netflix, you're not gonna watch it. You're not gonna watch that game. You're not
Yeah,
gonna pay
right.
$7 just to watch that game. Like I don't know if it's to get more games, more viewers, because you can only do so many slots on Fox, CBS, NBC, things like that.
Mhm.
But you know, I don't know. I don't really see the point. I mean, even like Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime,
Yeah, I was gonna mention that.
it's just terrible. It's been a terrible experience.
Eh, I imagine. Do you have that? Do you have Amazon
Yeah,
Prime?
yeah. It's sometimes like there's glitches and it freezes. Here's the thing with streaming services. Like, there's a chance that like it goes really slow, or it freezes, or it glitches.
Yeah, bro. It's getting problematic a little bit, bro. It really is. A lot of sports are starting to switch to streaming services, like you said, NFL. Also, oh wow, NASCAR too. NASCAR got some races
Yeah.
on Prime now, and I heard, now this isn't streaming, but I heard from Crawford. He said that TNT picked up some playoff games for this year. Now that's not a streaming service, but it's another new network that's never had college football. Never.
Oh, oh yeah. It's gonna be the playoffs. So
Yeah. A 5 year contract for that. So it's kind of interesting, bro. Like, it kind of makes me shake my head. You know, there was a big debate on if you would pay pay them, for the day of the game and then just immediately cancel the subscription. To your question on that one, that's what a lot of people are probably, some are going to do, the diehards, you know.
yeah.
Um, but the casuals, they're not picking up viewers from the casuals for a game that you have to
Nah,
pay for. No way, bro.
nah.
It's
Already
not.
paying up for that cable.
YouTube TV is up there, bro. It's kind of reached the cable pavement. They're about to equal now, about 13 years into streaming. Really? Good day. TNT got 5 NASCAR races next year too. TNT trying to get into sports. So, and I heard
I mean, I
that,
think TNT has been in there for a while, though. I mean, they do a lot of March Madness games.
and a lot of NBA too. Um,
Yeah.
they've been doing that. Although I heard recently their Inside the NBA show is going away now, with Charles and Shaq. Um, and so yeah, they're trying to diversify because they know that's what gets the viewers. The sports is what gets viewers. Um,
Oh, okay.
and so it's interesting, bro. Um, yeah, more interesting. Yep,
You're good,
yep, yep.
man.
They're pushing their way in, and every streaming service, like Rob said, is pushing their way in as well. and we're gonna see Apple TV come in. They've already got the MLS, the full streaming rights, exclusive rights to the MLS. Not many people care about that, but they'll dive in and they'll get their foot into football as well coming up soon. I can almost guarantee it. Like it's just the way the future. Like it's a shifting landscape beneath our feet.
Yeah.
It's getting pretty crazy. What I know we pay $72.99 for YouTube, but um, would you ever pay for an extra um for a one off or
I mean, let's see. We have Netflix. We
mm,
have Amazon Prime.
okay?
We have YouTube TV.
Yep.
We have Peacock.
Oh, you do have Peacock
Yeah, we got
for The Office.
no, not. I mean, I guess for The Office, but we definitely didn't get it for the football games.
Yeah, right,
Hey,
bro. Seriously.
Apple TV. I feel like they'll. Wait, what about Apple TV?
Well, I was saying MLS has exclusive rights on Apple TV, and they'll dive into college football and
No,
NFL or something.
that's a different thing. Apple TV. That's
Yeah, Apple TV.
expensive.
I'm sure it is. Do you know how much it is? I don't know
For what, YouTube TV or Apple
for
TV?
Apple.
I think Apple. I don't know. I can
Probably
imagine up
15 and
there.
up. Oh
Oh yeah, YouTube. So YouTube TV is a sports fanatics dream
yeah,
streaming service. You get you get Fox, NBC, CBS,
yeah,
ESPN one, two, ESPNU. You get SEC Network, ACC Network, Big
yeah,
Ten Network,
yep,
and you get all the March Madness channels.
yep.
So
NFL Network.
it is a sports fanatics dream streaming service. I love it.
Yeah, you were the one that convinced me to get YouTube TV, bro. Like
Oh, dude, that
it took.
the College World Series is coming up, dude. Like you get all those channels.
Wow. The multicast view is what really sold me, bro. Especially coming up on October 12th. This year is one of the biggest, college football Saturdays of the year, besides the playoffs. You've got so many marquee matchups that Saturday
Yeah,
that I'm definitely utilizing the
yeah.
multicast for
So
split screen TV.
yeah, Pickle Doughboys. Yeah, you get all those channels, and so let's say that there's more than one game on. They let you do a multi-view screen. Like you can watch four games at one time if you wanted, or two games at a time if you wanted. I mean, I have a 90-inch. Not trying to brag or anything,
Yeah, buddy.
but I can watch four games at one time. So it's pretty it's legit. But yeah, dude, Pickle Doughboys, go like look into it, man. I'm telling you, like you'll get the
Quality.
bang for your buck. I'm telling you, like
You
it's
really do
real
get it.
deal.
Yeah, it's really an amazing service, bro, and I'm really glad I switched to it. Um, Yeah, so one last story we got for tonight. The MDen, which is Michigan's officially licensed provider for Michigan athletics, they are
Oh
going
no,
through
Pickle Doughboys. It's YouTube TV.
YouTube TV,
Yeah,
not Apple
YouTube
TV.
TV.
Um, Let me get to the page. Here we go. I had to get my page of notes here on this one. So this came across NGO blog today, and they apparently owe $4.5 million to their suppliers. They are not paying their suppliers who provide the materials for M to sell. Um, there's a lot that goes into this business wise that's honestly a little bit boring, but I'll just quickly go over that. Basically, in the MDen, there used to be a ton of Michigan stores in the southwest or southeast, Michigan area, Ulrich's, Stephen Barry's, and other stores that were mainstays in the Ann Arbor and southeast Michigan area. But basically, MDen, in capitalism it is, They shut all those stores down, and now Hemden is struggling despite a 3-year run that Michigan has had. This guy Hintz or Hertz is his name. Hertz. He's run 2 other businesses into the ground, and now he's running Emden into the ground, which to me is hilarious because I saw many comments on MGO blog that said that it's May and people are still waiting for the national championship swag. People that don't live in the area, stuff isn't even on their website right now because they haven't paid their suppliers. It's not available to even order right now.
That's actually kind of funny. I mean, dude, Emden's been around forever, dude. Like they have one at the Laurel Park Mall. They obviously have one in Ann Arbor, but it's
Yeah,
been around.
multiple.
It's been around forever, and I didn't know. I didn't know it was that bad. Where they're not even playing. They're not even paying their suppliers for the merchandise, so their fans can get the merchandise. I mean,
Right.
that's terrible. But I mean, you got to pay the workers if you want to get the product. I mean,
Yeah, dude.
unless they weren't happy with the product.
Some were saying that the product was just not it's not as quality. It's better than your obviously J.C. Penney, Walmart, Target, Meyer kind of apparel that you get, of course. But the quality's gone down. Trying to save bucks, capitalism at its finest, but also at its worst. Um, it's just interesting because
So
so
there is a reason behind them not getting paid
yeah.
because of a not good quality product. I mean that's just the way it is, man. But like, so you know more about this article. Why file a lawsuit then?
Um, well, basically there's speculation. There's speculation. It all comes down to this Hearth guy. Essentially, he's got this track record and this history for doing this to companies and 2 other companies previously of bad bookkeeping. First of all, not organization, so incompetence or bad bookkeeping, possible embezzlement, um, as well as the potential of being both, being incompetent and shady, and so they literally um, are not paying because there's this agreement, quote unquote, that between business and suppliers that you typically sign in contracts that go to you have to pay within a certain period, and MDEN has just not paid at all, and so it's really unique. It's a situation where they're kind of getting screwed. Amazon is kind of taking a lot of their profits. And this guy has been doing this for a while, and so like I can understand January and February being backstocked and not having the apparel to have it, but it's freaking May, bro. It's freaking May. Like this is ridiculous, man. Yeah, right. It's his 3rd time doing this, man, and he's evading the law so far. For now, we'll see if he continues on this run. But it's it's a for the Michigan fans, it's not a lighthearted thing, but for us, it's super lighthearted. Just a little poke and laugh at them a little bit. Your main provider for gear can't produce right now, and it's kind of hysterical. So
Yeah, I mean that's like the main. Mden is like their main place, their
yep,
main
yep.
store.
They shut everybody else down, and now Rally Sports is trying to kind of rise back up. And I don't know
Oh
if you have a
yeah,
rally near you, but they're trying to
there's one in Dearborn.
expand. Okay, yep.
Oh
There's
yeah,
one here in Ann Arbor now.
and there's one in Northville, like
I,
right by. Actually, no, there's one in Novi, like right by the mall.
that's it, Novi. Oh, over by
Yeah.
12 Oaks. Okay.
Uh huh.
Yeah. So interesting little tidbit there to kind of close out the live for today.
Oh, I got one more thing,
Yeah. What you got, brother?
and this is good. This is good. So, an article, and also on Zach Smith's podcast,
Oh my.
the real reason why Jim Harbaugh left Michigan.
Oh yeah. No doubt. No
The
doubt.
real reason. And the real reason was he felt like he didn't have the right AD in his corner for him to continue there. Basically, he's saying that Ward Manuel did not stick up for me during my time at Michigan, so therefore things would have with the heat that the NCAA is bringing,
Mhm.
it would have been a lot more difficult for him to, be able to make moves at the university. If you so
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I follow. I read that on MGO blog as well, and I want to interject with this. I want to say that Harbaugh can say whatever he wants now because he's gone to make himself look better. I don't think Ward was ever a good AD, and if you read MGO blog, they all hate him. Um, but this article that came out, in my estimation, is just to make Harbaugh look as good as possible. This is literally quotes from Harbaugh, and it's only his side of the story. And Ward's not going to comment on this clearly, but I think it's a PR stunt in my opinion. He's trying to appease the Michigan fan base, put all the blame on Ward when he's the guy that's been flirting with the NFL for 3 years.
yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Okay, okay. I'm glad we're on the same page on that one. I think it's just it's
Because
kind of
Ward
shady,
in that
bro.
article, Ward did say he was surprised because due to the fact Harbaugh's been flirting with the NFL ever since he got to Michigan.
Right. And another point is that it's been proven Harbaugh wears out his welcome no matter where he goes because he's very abrasive. He did the same thing in San Francisco. He wasn't at Stanford long enough to do that. He jumped for a higher paid and of course the NFL job, but he spent 9 years at Michigan. He completely rubbed you know, the his bosses like he always does. He wore out his welcome. Now he props to him. Whatever he won the national title, he gets to have the last laugh, But it's clear he always wanted to go back to the NFL, and I think it's pretty obvious that he's making a PR stunt here in this situation.
Yeah,
Pickle says Harbaugh never even wanted to stay at Michigan since the second he arrived there. I don't know if I agree with that, but because he's a Michigan man through and through, he's as disgusting as that is. He's a Michigan man through and through. He was the quarterback Heisman finalist for them back then in the '80s, and he was sick of seeing Michigan go through the mud. But he was also forced out of San Francisco, and so. He had to rebuild his image, and it was about rebuilding his image to get back to the NFL. So in that sense, I do agree with you, Pickle. Any
yeah.
other thoughts on that?
He so also in the article he said he would have stayed
No,
if
I don't believe that at all.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that. No, I don't think he would have stayed either. He did everything he wanted to. He accomplished everything he wanted to at Michigan, and then it was time to move on. I think he would have done it regardless of who the AD was.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And the thing is, Ward seems like the perfect kind of AD. Like he knows how to manage. Now Michigan fans would fully disagree with me on this, but he knows how to say the right things and hide in the shadows until it's time to say something. And Michigan fans think he completely didn't stand up for Michigan, didn't stand up for Harbaugh, folded over like a cheap tent. Um, but it that's kind of a lack of understanding for what the AD position is. It's a management thing, and a lot of it is managing personalities. A lot of it is making sure you don't, um, you know, disrupt the NCAA basically. And so a lot of people just don't understand what the AD position actually is. And in Gene Smith's case, boy, is he getting out at the right time, bro. Like
Yeah,
seriously. The man
yeah,
is leaving, and he couldn't have picked a better time.
yeah, definitely. But
So
that's all I got.
nice, bro. That was a good fire topic, bro. I like that last one at the end there.
Yeah.
Um, well, I didn't have time to prep any champ or chump for this week, but if I were to, if I were to nail one down, it would probably the chump would probably be Jim Harbaugh. I mean, he gets to to skirt out, rebuild his image in the NFL again. He tarnishes his image again at Michigan, and now he whatever comes, which I don't think anything's going to happen, but whatever comes, he gets to completely avoid it. So he's kind of my chump of the week. You might you might twist my words there and think maybe he's a champ of the week for that, for being so savvy.
I don't know. But wait. So we're not a fan of Latham Ransom.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
not
grown,
really
but
a
he
fan.
still has a lot of mishaps.
Everybody else, yeah, they are they're good. They're really good.
Our secondary is BIA right now, man. Back to
Oh
BIA
yeah,
standards.
definitely. It is
Definitely
back.
back to BIA standards.
You can thank Tim Walden as well.
Yeah, former cornerback, bro. He's pulling in recruits just like Brian Hartline is, and it's exciting to see. Um, but yeah, man. I know you got one more day of school this week before another week is wrapped, and
Oh yeah.
I just want
Then
to.
after that, 9 more days.
That's excellent, bro. It's almost here. The
Yeah, I
finish
know.
line is so
Yeah,
close.
definitely.
So that's gonna wrap for another Buckeyes Battle Cry live. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Go back and see the previous segments that we covered of the NCAA settlement. We'll probably do a shorter, more in-depth video on that at some point, either this week or next, and we'll get that to you. But for Buckeyes Battle Cry, this is Peter signing off. Ooh, that stinks, bro. That stinks. And we'll answer this before we jump off. We'll jump off. Will Jeremiah Smith be a starter?
Absolutely.
What position? What position in the depth chart do you think he'll be?
I think he'll be the number 2 option.
Okay, so Mecca, JJ, jumping Tate. Okay, I can see that too, just based on potential and skill. We'll see. That's a fascinating topic, bro. So Buckeye Nation is so excited for him.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Um, I'm tempering expectations. I think he will be phenomenal for us, but I need to see it on the field first.
Yeah.
So even Marvin didn't produce his first year that much, you know.
But he
Um,
wasn't getting this much hype though. Like
Agreed, but he was probably as good or better than JJ, you know, and that's debatable too. Obviously, he was only a 4-star by the
I
recruits.
don't know, man. JJ just seems to be built different, man. He just seems like he's going to be once in a generation receiver.
Yeah, that's what everybody keeps talking about, and I'm not gonna. I think he's a phenomenal talent. But I'm a person that it's more as like prove it to me first before I just crown you. And so we'll see. We'll see. I think most of Buckeye Nation is in Cassie's camp and your camp, Rob. I'm kind of the outlier in this situation where I'm just a wait and
Yeah.
see. Um, but yeah, no, I think there's a lot going into it. There's a lot of hype, and that does get me excited because I don't get me wrong, I'm super excited to see him play. I just want prove to me first before I crown you.
Yeah,
So that'll
definitely.
do it for tonight. We had a good time. Cassie, don't stick around, and we'd love to have you in the community. And Pickle, thanks for joining in. Um, we'll go live every Thursday, typically 8:30. We jumped in a little late tonight. But yeah, typically 8:30 on Thursdays is when we go live, and we have a bunch of videos every week. So we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, Cassie. Appreciate that, brother.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you have a good night, Rob, and we'll see you on the
See
next
you.
one.
See you, man.
All right, later.
Later.